I have to make a video about this because I rarely ever think about this. But you can, if you can follow Ra's al Ghul, the character from Batman, was he was an Asian tribal warlord. His name in Arabic means the demon head. And historians are puzzled, I guess you could say. They're puzzling over whether or not he was a real person. However, he was the character of Ra's al Ghul is taken from the Camelot mythos. If it isn't assumed that he's a real person. So, for the thing is that with the DC Comics merging, I guess, because this is something that I heard a discussion about, a conversation on the internet. When the character was introduced by DC Comics, that was something of a happening, because the Grailstone mythos is it's kind of like the main digs of the Knights of Malta, right? That's their... I don't really have too many words to contribute. Okay, so the Knights of Malta is it's kind of like a secret society, or I don't know if it's secret, whatever, secrets, whatever. But they're Templars, so they must have been trying to race to open up the new Camelot in the West, and it's like there's an agenda in architecture, like there's an agenda in impressionists or surrealist paintings, but imagine that he's just a creation of the mind, right? Of creativity. In that point when he went from a facet of the Grailstone mythos into a character from Batman, it's like a morphing in fashion. It's like he's like now a facet for designers like fashion, you know, and they look to India for most of that, right? Or to the east, right? Not necessarily India every time. Okay, they did in the Camelot it's called series, for the design crew, for the set and whatever. All right. So I guess, you know, like the conquest of Galahad of Percival to retrieve the Holy Grail. Galahad was the most successful in retrieving the Holy Grail. Remember that Arthur, he pulled the Excalibur from the stone. So he was trying to rebuild Camelot. But Galahad was on the quest, and it took him into contact with Ra's al Ghul. Now Galahad was invited by Joseph of Arimathea to witness many miracles and and to ascend at the time of his choosing on the, like the most beautiful place in the world. Okay, so this is some posh, right, locale, and he ascended from Joseph of Arimathea's estate. Joseph of Arimathea is the king of the spice root, and is another person who historians are quizzical about whether or not he's a real person. So far, 3 in a row, all right, because Galahad was completely a creation of the imagination. But here's where it gets kind of, well, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything. It's just noted that Jesus the Nazarene was entombed on the property of Joseph of Arimathea. I'm not saying that should stop believers at all. Like, it's still quizzical whether or not the king of the spice root was the persona of Joseph of Arimathea, or if he's lended to the lore. And okay, I guess you can argue for the fact that they're amongst the inhabitants of the planet. Not everybody agrees on Jesus either. Okay, so where do I want to go with this? Galahad of Percival is Joseph, is Jesus' father. And I don't know why I know that, there might be something to it, but then again, I could just stop right here. It doesn't, the point is, I guess you could say it does matter what you believe, but anybody can believe whatever they want to believe. And I mean, it's like a message, because I don't even think about this stuff all the time. Like, rarely ever, which made me want to stop and do this, so to record this, because whenever I did think about that, I was like, damn, well, you just put it all together. But I mean, put it all together, like, when is this really something that I mean, I don't really think I would have very much success getting through. And I have talked to people where I tried to take them on this lane of community, this lane where I'm just saying the same thing, right? And even though you can't really have a way to feel about it, if you can't argue it's not the case, I just don't get to this point. And so it's good to have a tape recorder. Like, okay, so now I'm going to just state that the person who I listened to about mythology, that is a reason for me making this video. So in the credit is Bobby Hemmett, excuse me, I say his name too fast. But okay. And the other one is the internet, because it depends on who you're talking to, I think, because there are certain things that people want to get to deal with, right? That is for them. And so, like, if somebody didn't research some of the aspects of like the Joseph of Arimathea, if that was on the internet, what he said at the time that he was talking to, the people he was talking to, was complete and had just a lot of other things in it. So it's just interesting, you know. All right, that's it.